When Wolverine and his brother Sabretooth were confronted by an entire team of predators, Wolverine immediately took one of the predators out of the fight by launching one of their own smart discs directly at its throat. So the predators quickly activated their camouflage ability to start taking lives of their own, which ended up paying off almost instantaneously because when Sabretooth tried cutting them down utilizing his minigun, one of them was able to sneak behind his back before jamming a massive spear directly through the front of his chest. But refusing to go down without making the predator pay, Sabretooth then turned around before latching onto the predator's arms and forcing the spear to go through him as well. Meanwhile, Wolverine and the others tried evacuating the scene as soon as possible, but in the midst of doing so, they realized how much of a challenge that'd be when yet another camouflaged predator wrapped a rope around Jackson's neck, swiftly pulled her up into the trees, only to drop her back onto the surface just moments later with her head completely decapitated. And soon enough, upon analyzing her body, Logan and Maverick realized that there was a mini explosive attached to her left shoulder, immediately causing a massive eruption, sending both of them flying up into the air. After that, Maverick realized that his injuries were so incredibly severe that he was incapable of walking. So Logan tried tending to his wounds and seeing if there were any ways for him to help, but unbeknownst to him, a predator was right behind his back about to jam his wrist blades into his face. So Maverick pulled out his sidearm as quick as humanly possible, putting the predator out of commission by blasting its torso several times. This gave the duo a golden opportunity to find somewhere to hide and reassess the situation, or at least that's what they thought at first, because two of the predators were actually still alive and spotted them going inside of a nearby temple. Nevertheless, upon setting Maverick down next to some boxes, he realized that the rebellion they originally intended on destroying was stockpiling tons of explosives, which is when none other than the leader of the rebellion, along with an armed group of men, revealed that they were hiding in the shadows. Despite initially coming across as hostile though, the leader proceeded to emphasize that as of right now they weren't each other's enemies because the predators were still on the loose, indicating that they effortlessly cut through his men like grass and that they were the biggest threats he'd ever come across. 1 hour later, we see the soldiers in position while waiting for the predators to strike after setting up some sort of makeshift trap. But in the midst of doing so, one of them was caught off guard and blasted in the head because the predators infiltrated the temple without them knowing by utilizing their camouflage yet again. And it wasn't long before all the soldiers were out for the count because moments later the predators used their shields to deflect a bullet into one of their brains and then cut the other soldier in half by throwing its shield straight through its body. After that though, the predators ran over to the middle of the temple after noticing that one of their smart discs was over there, but as soon as it was in their possession they realized that there was C4 lined throughout the entire temple, immediately causing a massive explosion and giving Logan and the rest of the team the impression that the predators were finally gone. However, as they began loading themselves into a chopper, it's then revealed that the same predator who managed to survive the bear earlier also managed to survive the explosives. The story then advances into the future at the Weapon X facility, years after Logan and the Predator's last interaction, where two armed soldiers were guarding the facility's main entrance. But before you knew it, the same unrelenting Predator committed to bringing Logan to his knees was effortlessly dismantling both of them before using some bombs of his own to explode his way inside, where he'd finally exchange paths with Logan once again in the midst of his Weapon X operation. But sadly, that's where this issue comes to an end, but if you guys want to see what happens next, let me know in the comments down below.